me trying to speak to General Mkopozi to arrange and also to please inform the PC on my behalf. Like it happens in many other provinces, I never thought General Mkwanazi will actually take it too hard like he did. Similar situations have happened in Mpumalanga. Similar situations happened in Mpumalanga where the National Commissioner wanted to meet the team that was involved in a particular, I think it was a case where we found a arms catch or the one of Pit Retief where councillors were killed and a good job was done, but the National Commissioner wanted them to come and brief him. Now, as a result, I communicated to the brigadier, and then the PC called me and said, how? Now you are calling my people and me you are leaving behind. And these are my people. I say, General, please, I apologize. I should have started by you. And she said, no, I understand. Please, General, come with them. And she came, we interacted with them, but I apologized. And it was really not war like it is still today, just for the fact that I didn't speak to you directly, I spoke to someone who's your deputy. So it differs from character to character, from person to person. But it happens on a daily basis with all the provinces.
Okay. No, thank you very much. Thank you, General.
Thank you very much.
Before, General, you confirm the display of hatred towards you.
That's correct, Chair.
Okay, thank you so much. Honorable Ngola.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chair, let me start with a disclaimer that I'm also from the Eastern Cape, and I am here not because I was fired there.
Yeah, but before, you know, Honorable Sokanyile said she wanted to ask about that person from the Western Cape, who the general has said that he or she was fired.
Yeah, Chair, that's why I'm saying I'm from the Eastern Cape.
No, I'm just checking with her. Are you no longer asking that question, or because you had promised the general that you were going to ask him?
No. I'm no longer going to ask
Okay.
because he has reflected how they hated him also.
Okay. Yeah, my apologies, Honorable Ngola.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Chair. Chair, General, good morning. We are going to, I've sectorized my questions in two. The first emanate from the answers you have given yesterday to the evidence leader. And the second emanate from the statement you deposed to this committee. One, I want you to confirm to the committee that the answers you gave yesterday are to the best of your information and they are not a bad denial. Do you confirm?
Make me understand, Chair, because when the honorable member says the answers I gave versus the affidavit I deposed, they are not a bad denial. Can the honorable member take me to a specific point?
I'm saying, leave the statement for now. We'll come to the statement. I'm saying you have been asked the whole day by the evidence leader yesterday. You have provided answers.
Yes.
And in your statement, you said, you confirm that the information you are to give is to the best of your knowledge.
That's correct.
So I'm asking that you confirm on record that all the answers that you would have given to the ad hoc committee yesterday are the best of the knowledge that you have and not a bad denial.
That is correct.
Thank you. Your boss, General Masemola, deposed a statement in this committee. And one of the provisions in the statement say there was a meeting between him, General Khumalo, and the Minister of Police that declared you a rogue police officer. Are you a rogue police officer?
I've never been one in my 37 years old in the service.
So you deny the allegations?
I deny that, and they must prove that.
Okay. So you receive a call from a gentleman by the name of Brown Mokhuts, who comes and meets with you in a hotel in Camps Bay. You dine together. He divulges an intelligence information to you, an alleged plot to oust you or something. But didn't it concern you as a Deputy National Commissioner of the South African Police Service that a civilian comes to you as a boss of an institution and gives you an information about your intelligence services? Did it not concern you?
What concerns me is the fact that he was telling me something about I know, and in that regard, I work with information. I've got people who are my informers, I have people who are whistleblowers. I deal with information. So even if I am concerned, the only thing I can do is to either speak to the National Commissioner, or where the National Commissioner is involved, I'll speak to the Deputy Ministers.
No. We understand clearly that crime intelligence has got what they call community intelligence, where they use the to tackle crime. They use information they get from community members, which is fair. This is a different discourse, General. This person comes to you as a Deputy National Commissioner, brings an information about your intelligence services, not about what is happening in the community that will help you execute the mandate that you have. So this is different. I agree. It is important that you work with communities, get information, but this is different. A civilian comes to you, gives you information about your intelligence services. Did it not concern you that how did a civilian get hold of this kind of information as a person given a responsibility to manage and control the police service?
No, it didn't concern me.
Why?
Because when someone comes to you with information that helps your cause, you do give attention to such information. I cannot be worried about the fact that this person is giving me information that is actually saying to me, look over your back. I can't be worried about such.
So intelligence formation of the countries that is lingering among community members doesn't worry you as a Deputy National Commissioner. Is that what you are saying?
That is the most concern that we must raise within the intelligence structure.
I'm talking about you, General, as a Deputy National Commissioner. So it does not concern you that an information that is supposed to be in the custody of intelligence services is lingering around community members. It does not confirm. Is that your evidence that you are not concerned when intelligence information is lingering around community members?
Of course, I am concerned if ever a member of the public will have information, in particular documents that belongs to intelligence. It is a cause for concern. But if it is information that relates to the security that affects me, or you just giving me information as a whistleblower, it happens on a daily basis from many angles of the country where you get such information. People on the ground do come across information, and people do report right up to the highest office. They report, they bring information.
Okay, Chair, I think let's just note that the first General Sibiya was not concerned, and on the second, General Sibiya was concerned. What did you do with that information?
It's information that says, watch over your back. And then what I did is, sometimes I approach the national commissioner. Sometimes I did speak to General Kumar and say, I understand there is one of the senior managers who's going around here and saying, when I'm going to arrest your boss, or we intend to arrest so and so and so and so. And at some point, it's even journalists where they want a journalist to run a story that says General Sibiya's arrest is imminent, and they want a journalist to run that story. And then I have a lot of AI generated TikTok messages about me. So you find that when you Google me or when you go into TikTok, you find that there is thousands of negative messages, or they will take my message and turn it replicates into many messages.
The question, General, was that what did you do about that information?
What did I do about the information? I use it to my advantage to make sure that I survive.
Okay. Are you in constant contact with Mr. Brown Hotz?
Not on a daily basis, not.
But you are communicating?
I am communicating.
About issues relating to the police service?
No, not about issues related to the
Issues in
police
general.
station in general.
Okay. No, that's fine. Let's take back what Honorable Sokanyile was asking you. Mr. Matlala finds difficulties in operating in terms of the work that he was given. Comes to your office for the first time.
Yes.
Then you say beyond that, was the account that you have told us is that he came to ask about his tender issue where he found difficulties. You were acting national commissioner then. But you continue to say you have met him for about 5 times or less.
Yeah.
And you moreover say all this fracas happens when you are about to know him more, or when you are about to know each other more. Is it a general practice in the police service that the top brass of the service has got direct contact and direct relationship with service providers? And how many service providers do you have the same relationship that you have with Mr. Matla in the SAPS?
What I know is that Mr. Matlala is a well-known person in the service, in the police. As you can see at some point right from the minister downward.
Let's talk about you, General.
No, I'm just saying, you ask, the honorable member asked a question whether is there a general practice in the police. Now, I'm saying it is a general practice in the police because it's a service provider, it's a stakeholder. Whether you're talking about Old Mutual, you're talking Metropolitan, you're talking about many other, they, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, they find themselves in the same space. They are known to each other. That is why they gave him a tender to operate in the college where the national commissioner is. And there was no problem that the national commissioner saw himself on Mr. Matlala there. There was no issue because at that point in time, nobody knew about Mr. Matlala's involvement in any crime. Because if they knew, and I'm the only one who's actually working with him, it would have been understood or understandable. But in this case, I also take it that even the national commissioner or any other person there didn't know.
Do you know where Mr. Matlala resides?
No.
You have never been in his homestead?
No.
Okay, that's on perfect. Let's go back to the entire fracas about the dissolution of the PKTT and stuff. Do you think that political killings are still prevalent in the political system in South Africa?
Do I?
Do you think that in the political system of South Africa, we are daily still experiencing political killings?
Yes, but at a much lower rate.
Than it was before?
Than it was
before. Do you think that was the impact of the PKTT?
At that point in time, yes.
No, I'm saying general. Do you think that political killings are still prevalent in our political system? You say yes, but in a much lower rate.
Yes.
Do you think that that much lower rate is as a result of the work that was done by the political killings task team?
I agree.
You agree? Do you think that it is quite warranted that such a working political killing task team be dissolved? What is your view as a deputy national commissioner now? Analyzing the situation, seeing this team that you agree here under oath that is working hard. Do you think it was a proper decision to proceed with this dissolution given what you have just told us?
Personally, and looking at what the South African Police Services embarked on themselves, they embarked on a journey to dissolve the task teams and to make sure that they establish specialized units that will take care of, including, among others, political killings.
No. General, we are talking about one letter here. I hear you are bringing an overall approach over task teams. Here, what brings us here today is the letter of the 31st of December 2024. And that letter only speaks about the political killings task team. So, you are saying, in your view, political killings are still prevalent, and the political killings task team has done a tremendous job in reducing political killings in South Africa. Now, the question still is, do you think then, therefore, that it's a proper, well-calculated decision, given these circumstances, to dissolve it?
Honorable Chair, I'm saying still, they said to the House Portfolio Committee Chairperson that they have achieved the purpose for which they were established. They have stabilized all the districts except only a eThekwini district. Now, we can't keep them only to attend to only one district now. I said yesterday, go to El Dorado Park, go to Westbury, go to Hanover Park, Manninberg, all those dangerous areas, Cape Flats, where people are dying every day. Let us refocus the energy and the resources and the budget to where they are needed. And we don't say political killing task team must die. We're saying we have now come up with a work study that says they must fall under murder and robbery unit so that the whole country can have a benefit of the expertise, to have expertise throughout the country to be able to fight this type of cases. Any murder, taxi violence murder, serial murder, police killings, if it falls under murder and robbery unit, that has got a pool of excellence within it, they will be able to operate throughout the country. But you don't need to have a small group of people based in KZ and to take over the whole country.
Okay.
Yeah, just to hold it there. General, when you say that we are saying that the resources that we have deployed to the PKTT must fall under, you say, murder and robbery unit. Is that what is contained in the letter that was written by the minister dissolving the PKTT?
Yes.
Okay.
And also when you look at the work study they did, it says that they must fall under murder and robbery unit. And it is also what they presented in Parliament, that it must fall within the murder and robbery unit. So in general, there's no disagreement that they belong. This is serious and violent crime that falls under component serious and violent crime. This is where they belong. So we should put structures, permanent structures, and even the CFO commented and say post-elections they must be deactivated. When you look at the elections that passed, there was zero incident. In many times, it is just because of how you deploy. But let us have, throughout the country, structures that are well established to be able to fight that.
Chair, I think let's pass because What would have been said on the 5th of March in the portfolio committee meeting is actually an aftermath of, because the letter predates that meeting. The letter is 31st December 2024. The meeting is 5 March 2025. Now, in this dissolution, you proceed with the plan and you sign the plan. General Masemola says, what keeps the status of the political killing system intact is the fact that the minister did not sign his winding down plan. You say in your statement, you have signed the plan. How many plans did you have to dissolve the
How many pens?
plans?
Or
Plan.
There was one plan that says, as per the directive that I received from the Office of the National Commissioner, is to disband and to deactivate, to communicate the deactivation to the team. That's the communication that I received from the National Commissioner.
Okay.
And both the email and a document now that is well structured coming from the Office of the National Commissioner that gives out or lays out the whole plan coming from the National Commissioner's office, confirmed by him in July, in the March in Parliament, and the next day, on the 6th of March, in a form of an action plan. So all I'm saying is that there's never been any objection in front of the minister, at least.
Okay.
And in my case, I was never written anything in writing. If the National Commissioner was of the view or of the opinion that it looked like I am not listening or I don't cooperate, the National Commissioner would have officially written to me and say, this thing I'm still attending to it with the minister, and I would like to urge you to, at this point in time, hold back your horses because until further notice, but I am engaging the minister. You wouldn't have seen even a single letter from me.
Okay, was there a meeting between yourself, General Kumalo, General Masemola, General Mkhwanazi, the Chief of Staff, Mr. Nkabinde, and the Minister discussing a winding down plan of the political killing system?
Unless in Parliament, but I've never sat in a meeting when the political killing system was being discussed and General Mkhwanazi was involved. But there has been meetings where there is General Masemola, Nkabinde, Kumalo.
Okay. We have evidence in our disposal that there was such a meeting where you had the other tree supporting the plan and the other tree does not. It is not supporting the plan. But let's leave it like that. So in your winding down, let's leave the Masemola winding down. Chair, it looks like we've got two winding down plans here. The one of General Sibiya and the one of General Masemola. Let's go to yours. Political killing system does not only comprise of SAPS members. Comprise DPCI, comprise NPA, comprise crime intelligence. In your plan, was there a consultation process to those that are part of the political killing system?
Let's start here. There are no two national commissioners, there's only one.
No.
I'm responding, Chair.
No. Never did I say there are two national commissioners. I'm saying evidence in the disposal of the ad hoc committee now is that a statement by the national commissioner says, I developed a winding down plan of the political killing system. And the reason why the political killing system is still intact now is because the minister did not sign my plan. You depose your own statement immediately after General Masemola. You say you have signed the plan, the process plan to dissolve the political killing system. That's the point. So I'm submitting to the chair that we've got two plans. The one submitted by the National Commissioner and the other submitted by his deputy.
I'm still responding, Chair, that there are no two plans. There's one plan And that plan is that of the National Commissioner. Then you don't have a Sibiya plan, you don't have a National Commissioner's plan. The plan that is supposedly supposed to be that of General Sibiya is the one that comes from the National Commissioner's office through his office managers, the one that we are relying on, and it takes care of all the issues raised, the stakeholder engagement and many other things. And I can read the topic. I just want to get to
No, it's fine. You can leave it. I got the answer. I got the answer. Oh, you're done.
So there are no two plans,
Okay.
one plan.
That's fine. That's fine. Let's take it from them.
Honorable member, let's do it like this. General Sibiya, did you want to refer the member to some information in your notes?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted to check.
let's allow him to take you through.
I'm looking for that document with a signature in the body of the. The letter of deactivation that come, oh, here is it. Maybe for the benefit of the public out there and the House at large, Chair, I'm requesting to read this letter in its entirety, because I want the record to be kept so that anybody who listens, they must see at what length did we go to try to take care that this document or the transition, it covers everything. Now, it reads, can I proceed, Chair? This letter is just, and it is written to the Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence. That is now after I received from the National Commissioner that says, please communicate to the team. And I forwarded to the Divisional Commissioner. Now, the National Commissioner says, I spoke to General Rabi to assist him. Now, General Rabi writes a letter that on my behalf, and this is how the letter reads. And you will also, we can read that one that was compiled by General Kumalo on instruction of the National Commissioner, and the House can decide which one, in fact, make more sense and more effective. But it says deactivating and disbandment of the National Task Team on Political Killings. The South African Police Service established the National Task Team on Political Killings, NTKPP, to address the concerning rise in politically motivated murders and related crimes involving political figures. This specialized task team was dedicated to investigating, resolving, preventing such incidents to ensure justice and maintain political stability in affected areas. On the 31st of December 2024, the Minister of Police issued a directive to the National Commissioner to immediately deactivate and disband the NTKPP. This decision was informed by an assessment that the task team no longer significantly contributed to policing efforts. The directive requires immediate compliance with appropriate measures to be undertaken to ensure the effective disbandment of the NTKPP in accordance with current prescripts in this regard. These measures must ensure that ongoing investigations are not disrupted or compromised. Now, that was our top priority, both myself and the National Commissioner, that investigations are not compromised. Monitoring and oversight. A temporary transition team must be established to oversee the disbandment process and address any arising challenges. This team must regularly report progress on the status of the disbandment to the Divisional Commissioner for Detective Service and facilitate communication between NTKPP, the Division Detective and Forensic Service, and other business units. A final audit must be conducted to ensure all cases and resources have been appropriately managed during a transition and appended to the closing report. Accountability. Effective immediately, all investigative personnel of the NTKPP PK responsible for case dockets are directly accountable to the Divisional Commissioner for Detectives and Forensic Service until they are assigned or reassigned to alternative units. This personnel will remain responsible for all investigations and resources allocated to them until a formal handover is completed in accordance with the established protocol. Now, this must indicate already that this was not saying immediate now. The same arrangement applies to crime intelligence and other personnel who will be accountable to the relevant divisional and provincial commissioners until final arrangements are communicated. Now, case handing over. Comprehensive handover protocol for all ongoing investigation must be established and implemented in consultation with the Divisional Commissioner for Detective and Forensic Service. This protocol should include complete case files, evidence, and related documentation. Additionally, detailed records of all handover investigations must be maintained and appended to the final report. Assignment of cases. And as you can see, it's talking about the final report, which means the report is still coming at some point, but we are not yet there. Assignment of cases. All case dockets must be hand-delivered to a location designated by the Divisional Commissioner for Detective and Forensic Service, who must establish a secure repository for case files and evidence to ensure continuity and prevent any loss or tampering. These dockets will then be reallocated to appropriate investigation unit within the capacity to continue the investigation. The point that I want to raise in this paragraph, it says, they must be delivered to a location designated by the Divisional Commissioner for Forensics, not to my office. The second point that I want to indicate here is that the docket will then be reallocated to appropriate investigative unit with the capacity to continue, as they indicated even in Parliament that they will take them to murder and robbery unit, and this is what is supported by the work study investigation that has been approved by the National Commissioner himself on the 6th of June 2025. Personnel redeployment. The PKTT members must be reassigned to other units within SAPS in consultation with the Divisional Commissioner for Detective and Forensic Service and other relevant divisional and provincial commissioners. Detailed record of deployment personnel must be maintained and apprehended to final report. To me, the SAPS was going to benefit from these members because wherever they go, they will re-establish the same time of approach, but the country will benefit. Equipment and vehicles redistribution. All equipment vehicles allocated to the NTKPP must be redistributed to other units within the South African Police Service in consultation with the Divisional Commissioner for Detective and Forensic Service and other relevant divisional and provincial commissioners. Detailed record of redistribution resources must be maintained and appended to the final report. You can imagine how many vehicles were bought. Millions of rands were bought for this PKTT, but if those cars, those resources were to be redistributed to fight the crime, be it in KZN is still fine, or to the murder and robbery unit, so that the same work can continue. Stakeholder communications. All internal and external stakeholders must be notified in writing about disbandment of the NTKPT, the transition plan for ongoing cases, and the future protocol. Now, here we are saying, we must remember that General Mkhwanazi suggested that the NPA were not informed, but here...
General, I thought that when you made reference to that piece of evidence, you will say to the member, there is this memorandum that was in circulation in the police services, is dated 2025, March or April, and the key areas that I want to bring to the attention of the member are the following. That is why I made that intervention, so that you must not leave here saying, I wanted to bring the following information to the attention of the members, but it's like they were not interested. Because you can imagine if you read that letter from beginning to end, I don't know. What are the areas of emphasis?
Chair,
That-
it's,
that-
it's
that-
only 2 pages that is left, and they are not many, they are just short sentences. But what is important, it's also for the public to know that every step was taken to make sure that these dockets are not going to suffer, and there's a clear plan on the table on how to deal with this. Because the political killing task team, it cannot live forever, it should not be a permanent structure. It's a task team.
And that helps to answer the question of the member. Remember, the question is that you must demonstrate that there were no two plans
Yes.
between the police commissioner and yourself.
Actually, Chair, we passed that. We're on the part where I'm asking if DPCI, NPA, and crime intelligence were consulted. I think the party is reading that all stakeholders must be notified through writing. I think we can take it from there now.
Okay.
Okay, so I must stop.
No, no.
Can I finish?
He wants to hear the part of the stakeholders.
We read past it, that says they must be informed. And then, now this one is a plan that says inform them. This letter was intended to go to the project leader to say the stakeholder, internal and external, must be notified. In other words, the person who had to do it, if it was me, it was going to be like I was forcefully disbanding. But mine was to communicate to the team that had to do it and giving them a roadmap and say, these are the key issues that we must work on.
This letter is signed by you.
It's signed by me. This is the letter that the National Commission said you can sign because it's operational. And then it came via a general in the National Commissioner's office to me and said, no, the NASCOM says you can sign, this is operational, sign. Because I have got an email that comes from the National Commissioner.
But maybe before you proceed with him, because the National Commissioner, when he was here, he says, not once, but on several occasions, I told General Sibiya that he must stay out of this process, and I will handle it. And I see the letter that you are reading, because I still have another letter here written by yourself, dated April 2022, 22 April 2025. And this is the period that in his testimony, he has said to us that he have warned you in April that you must stay away from the PKTT. But then, yeah, maybe before you go back to Honorable Nola, if you can just take us through that to say, the letters that the reason why I'm asking you who signed the letter, and you say it's you, and I have this other one as well of 22, it has the same topic of, the same subject of deactivation and disbandment of the PKTT, and it's signed by yourself. How do you continue to sign these letters when the National Commissioner says, I have spoken to General Sibiya and instructed him to get out of the PKTT, because from the onset he was never involved. And I also listen to you when you speak here. When they appear before the portfolio committee, you say they, and my understanding is that when you say they, you are not there yourself.
When I say they, Chair, remember at this point in time, we've got General Kumar and General Masemola,
Yeah.
who were presenting. I was part of the whole presentation because as far as I'm concerned, we are all part of one team.
You were there in that meeting?
I was in that meeting.
Yeah, but when you say it's here, you don't say we, you say they.
Because I'm sitting with both General Masamolo and Kumalo accusing me of disbanding, but they were the one doing presentation.
I mean, in the meeting of the portfolio committee.
I was there, and then the presentation we own.
Okay, no, it's fine. Let's leave it there. The chair of the portfolio committee is here for sure. These are matters that he will take interest when you. Can you just go back to your communication, your correspondences, and clarify within the context of what Honorable Ngola is asking, to say it appears like there are two parallel processes here, because the commissioner says, I talked General Sibiya out of this process, and even reprimanded him. It's what he told us, and for sure this may be some of the reasons leading to your suspension, because it's what he said, that I talked him out of this process. But then it appears like you sign letters, you communicate. And he wants to know, because he says, no, listen, the minister has never signed my winding plan. And here is my deputy, is my colleague, I say, look, wait here, I will handle this. And then you are reading a letter. What is the date of the letter you are reading?
I think it's 17 January.
Yeah, and this one is 22nd April. Help the honorable member to understand. Thank you.
I'm asking, Chair, to just before I get to the honorable member, just to mention two issues. The first issue being, starting from January, when this matter arose, working with the National Commissioner, working smoothly with the National Commissioner, on the 4th of April, the National Commissioner assessing me and in all respect saying competent in everything, then his only concern that he wrote, this is the only concern that he wrote in his performance. Now, it says, the forensic science part of the division, detective and forensic must be paid close attention and their performance to improve. Now, because this is the time where the National Commissioner was supposed to say to me, Chief, you don't listen, you don't do this, and when I say this, you do this, and I want this to improve or this. So I'm bringing this point home that says, no, the bottom line is he assesses me positively because there's no issue.
Yeah, the assessment, we recorded it, the competence and the performance index, how it has improved. You said it in a chapter and verse yesterday. I have everything on record. Go to Honorable Ngola and help him to understand the context.
Honorable Ngola, please take me back to my trailing thought.
Yeah, because you went all over and spoke about assessments and dockets. We have not arrived there. We're going there.
I have to survive.
We passed the issue of the two plans, Chair. Because it is the evidence of the general that, no, they are not two according to his knowledge. It's fine. Let's take it from there. Let's just record it as he says it. So, the letter that he reads speaks about informing stakeholders internally and externally. Because, Chair, when a possibility arises for NPA, DPCI, and crime intelligence to come to this committee, we'll ask them if they know about any plan or any process to disband the political killings system. So I'm asking again to you, General. Have you been able to inform those stakeholders of the directive and the plan thereof in respect of the dissolution of the political killings system? I'm asking you as a person who says you received a directive from the Office of the National Commissioner to manage this process. who are doing this general so that they don't come here and say, no, we don't know anything about that. So it must be on record that you have informed them that the Podkal Killing Stars team has reached its sell-by date.
Chair, that was not my responsibility to do that, to inform the stakeholders. The stakeholders had to be informed by the project manager of the Political Killing Task team. The instruction came that says, communicate this to the relevant team. I did that. Theirs was to start the process and to start running with the baton. Not me running letters all over, writing letters to every stakeholder, to that one and that one, going to see that one, going to meet that one. It was the responsibility of the task team, project leader, to do it.
General, you speak like someone who's operating in a peripheral environment. You are given a responsibility to head an institution as big as SAPS. Beyond that, you are given a responsibility to oversee and preside over a process of dissolving the political task teams, didn't you? Was that responsibility not given to you?
That's correct.
Is it not your responsibility to ensure that your subordinates or your juniors do the obligations that they've been given to expedite the process?
That is why I was writing those
But
letters.
you can't say you can't go around with letters. The point here is, you are a boss that's presiding over a process.
Yes.
Now, whoever you have given that obligation of writing a letter is not important for these purposes. But the question is, were the stakeholders informed of the process you presided over?
The stakeholders had to be informed by the project manager, not by myself.
Chair, can I repeat the question? I am not asking who bears the responsibility of informing the stakeholders. Imagine today, the chair gives us, all of us as members, responsibilities one by one. And when the chair is asked outside by the media that, how are you handling this and that? And he says, no, I gave that to Ngola, it's not on me. The point, General, here is that you are presiding over the process now. You give responsibilities to the project manager. So it's upon your obligation to ensure that who you gave a responsibility actually does the responsibility given. Unless you are saying you are not aware whether those stakeholders were informed or not.
Chair, all I know is that the direct instruction from the Office of the National Commissioner says, communicate to the relevant team and to prepare a close-up report. Then come a letter of the 17th that gives a roadmap that says this is what must happen. Inform the internal and stakeholders. This comes from me telling the project manager, inform the internal and external. That's the part that I could play and how far I could go. And
So
that's
you're not aware whether that one you gave a responsibility to inform stakeholders did that responsibility?
I'm not aware.
Okay, let's pass that part. So in your view, what is the status of the political killing stars team?
Just like General Mkhonazi said, it's running, it's up and running.
So it's not dissolved.
It never was.
Okay. The plan was signed.
The plan was signed
But why was it not dissolved there?
because General Mkhonazi says he was not informed. Therefore, the team is running.
So, according to General Mkhonazi, is acting against the instructions of the top brass of the service.
Which happened.
Okay. Let's go to dockets. You say you are the custodian of all the dockets in South Africa.
Correct.
But you say there are dockets that you can be unable to account for. How does that happen?
Not that I can be unhappy to account for, that falls under me, but I'm not accounting. I'm expected to account for them, but they are not in my possession.
Okay. Where do you derive these powers of custodianship of dockets?
Can we go to the same letter that gives the powers that was approved by the National Commissioner? That says, I just want the page, Chair, that says the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection is the custodian of all dockets in the country. In the bundle. Chair, I want to just, legal team, do you know? Evidence leader?
Yes, sir. The witness is.
I want to be
seeking
able to
trust.
get to that page that assists me, where it says the Deputy National Commissioner is the one that was even approved by the National Commissioner, because I account for the performance of the detectives even before the Auditor General. And as a result, when we talk about the docket, when you register a case docket, it is for investigation. Once it is for investigation, it falls within my space. Now the docket leading to up until prosecution is my docket as the detective. The uniform in the police station will open a case docket, and then the next person who comes to sign for the docket is a detective. Now the detective is their docket. Yes, it belongs to a station for that station, because when you ask, for an example, you say you open a case in Wheatbank, it will be Wheatbank case so-and-so, Midrand case so-and-so, Devon Central case so-and-so. But the dockets belong to those stations, but I am responsible for all the dockets because I account to the Auditor General for all the dockets. I'm saying this now in the absence of the documents I have here. I will come across it now. But all the investigations or investigative processes belong under crime detection, which I'm responsible for. Now, which means that is why I was saying to the National Commissioner, I have dockets that are in uniform, that are at ORS, and the National Commissioner said, no, those detectives must fall under you. I have dockets that are at ID or Hawks. Those dockets, I must account for those dockets. So I'm the custodian of all the dockets.
Okay. I was asking.
Sorry, Chair, I was just trying to.
Let's allow the member to conclude. You'll come later.
Not on the docket.
I was asking, where is the power derived from? Is it derived from the employment contract? Is it derived from the policy? Is it derived from legislation? Where is this power of custodianship of all dockets? Is
From the employment contract and from the legislative framework of the detectives.
okay. Where are the 21 dockets, 121 dockets?
Where are they?
Now, yes.
They are
I'm asking from the custodian now.
They are I take it that they will be with the political killing task team project manager.
Why were they taken?
They were taken, brought by them to be taken to where they needed to be taken to, which is the specialized unit, murder and robbery unit, which is mandated to investigate political killing task team. Those political, that what they are investigating as a task team, in fact, belongs to murder and robbery unit. They are just a separate structure that is running outside the structure.
Okay, General, you have just confirmed with us now that the political killings task team is up and running. If that's the case, why were 121 dockets taken from the political killings task team that is up and running?
Chair, a decision was taken to disband immediately. And the political killing task team project manager did say that this political killing task team have achieved the purpose for which it was intended for, to stabilize and to fight the killings of the politicians and your traditional leaders and others. Now, when you look at the map, I wish we could display the map. If it's doable, Chair, that what was presented in the, to be able to see how they've stabilized. I don't know, Chair, evidence leader, that is it possible to put that document that shows how they have stabilized, all of them green, and then that in fact it shows 1-1, and they said only eThekwini district is the one that is problematic, but the rest, there are no political killing task team anymore. So as a result, it can be used as a benchmark, and that it will be now done in a phase-out approach. It will be taken to murder and robbery unit. This is now General Kumalo saying it will be taken to murder and robbery unit.
Okay, let's leave General Kumalo. Let's leave what General Kumalo says. The letter was what General Kumalo would have said was it was actually later than the 31st of December 2024. The letter says, the service of the political killings task team is no longer required because it's no longer adding any value. And you have attested here in front of us that, in your view, the political killings task team has actually been able to down spiral the rate at which political killings happened in South Africa. Now, let's pass this stage, General. Let's go to the letter. I think, Chair, I'm going to this letter. It's on page 20 of the index core bundle. Page 20. I wasn't happy with how the General responded yesterday, and I thought it's fine. Let me not stress. Let me come back to it today. Here, there is an issue about confiscation of Vusumzi Keti Matlala phone and a cracking of WhatsApp conversations of Vusumzi Keti Matlala. It is established there that there is a constant communication between Mr. Matlala and Mr. Mokhotsi. It's not between you and them. 2, in this communication, Mr. Mokhotsi, the one you had breakfast with, alleges that he has, the message reads like this: I have arranged a meeting for Sibiya and the minister. They must have a solution. And it goes down and say the task team that came to your house and harassed you have been dissolved. So this is a chronological order of the messages between the two. But in that there is confirmation of a person you considered in this meeting that you have had a breakfast with. He says, the person, your breakfast person says, I have arranged a meeting for Sibiya and the minister. He goes back down and talk about the dissolution of the PKTT. So this is my question. Has Mr. Matlala and Mr. Mokgotsi influenced the dissolution of the PKTT, as it has been alleged by both the two witnesses that appeared before us? 2, do you have a direct relationship with Mr. Mokgotsi and Mr. Matlala? 3, was there a meeting arranged between yourself, the minister, Mr. Mokgotsi, Mr. Matlala, on the dissolution of the PKTT?
This must be your last 3 questions.
Yeah, but 20 minutes, I'm 30, let's have us fine.
No. I want you to do this. Do not bombard the witness with questions. Take them one by one
Okay, that's fine,
as you conclude.
that's fine. Okay, let's take one first, emanating from this that is written here. Can remind you that it's a communication between the two people, and we're not saying we are responsible for that communication. We're saying there is your name dropped there, that I have arranged a meeting with Sibiya and the minister. So has there been a meeting arranged between you, the minister, Mr. Matlala, and Mr. Mokgotsi to discuss the...
Never.
Okay.
There was never such a meeting.
Okay. When did you have breakfast again with Mr. Mokgotsi?
I think it was on the 8th
January
of January.
2025.
Yeah, Chair, I may be wrong. He came for the 8th of January meeting. And I take it that it was in the morning. But normally, because of we are working as the South African police, we would wake up early and be on the ground. So I don't know whether it could be before or that, but it did come, I confirm, we met.
When did SAPS raid Mr. Matlala's homestead and confiscate his phone?
They say it's on the 6th
Of
December. That's what I read in the statement.
December
Yeah.
last year.
It was on the 6th of December because in one of the statements that I read, it says it was the raid of the 6th of December that led to the beginning of the disbandment of the
Okay,
task.
when did Mr. Matlala get arrested? In your knowledge?
Far deep in May
This year.
this year.
So the breakfast predates the arrest and these messages, because these messages are taken on the basis of the arrest and confiscation. So fine, let's leave it general. Let's just leave it there. So General Mkhwanazi alleges that they have scanned, they have audited the dockets to check if they are in the same shape as they were when they were taken. We say I think they found about 5 with some minor deficiencies, with some missing pages and all that. Are you aware of that?
I heard him, but I don't agree with that.
Okay. Let's go to Forte. We have got 4 members of the PKTT whom you allege that they have taken money at some point in the Eastern Cape. Of course, we established that they are not 6 or 10, they are 4. And one amongst them did not take money in terms of your statement. It's page 167, 176 and 177. One of them just got himself some polo neck and a coat. New polo neck and a coat. Now, I want to take us through what is your reading of that. Do you read it as a pure act of bribery and money laundering between police and an accused person? Or do you read it as a covert operation of the police to lay in a suspected individual so that they can be able to arrest him?
It's not how a covert operation works. And it's not even how an undercover operation works to law. It's not how it works completely. It's pure act of criminality.
Okay. General Mkhwanazi made assertions here saying sometimes covert operations, Chair.
On a point of, not a point of order, just the sound, please, General, if you could direct General to speak into the mic. Thanks.
Okay.
On a point of sound. Thank you.
Clarity.
Now, General Mkhwanazi came and under oath made statements here that sometimes a covert operation would be them buying a Lamborghini just to infiltrate a Lamborghini club that is suspecting to be involved in criminal activities. Is that correct?
It's wrong.
It's wrong, completely wrong.
It's not an investigator, it's wrong.
Okay. Now, Chair, let's take matters to the issue of, I think a lot of issues I've covered. I'm left with just the issue of when you wrote communications.
I want you to know that you are asking the last question.
Yes, it is the last question.
Yeah.
General Kumalo is due to come and testify. But following his testimony, what was cut down in the Judicial Commission, it seems to be a very different story with what you are using, but it's fine, we'll take it when he comes here. But I want you to confirm before us what we have been communicating with him on the dissolution, because he's a project leader. Now, what has been his responses to the numerous communiques you have been sharing with him in respect of this matter? Thank you.
Basically, he ignored my emails, because remember the National Commissioner said he told him to ignore me, and as a result, which means whatever that was happening going forward, it was happening because the National Commissioner said this is how you will do it. Now, even when the dockets were brought over to head office or wherever, starting from when the National Commissioner said, ignore that one, whatever that happens now going forward is the National Commissioner's instruction. So coming up the dockets, General Kumalo would never have brought the dockets to head office or wherever, because he already got instruction from the National Commissioner himself that says, ignore that one. So anything and everything that flows therefrom, National Commission.
Thank you, General. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sokanyile. Thank you so much, Honorable Ngola. Honorable Skosana and Honorable Shongwe. The two of you, when you are done, we are going to break. So in case honorable members may want to see themselves in and out, you can just do that discreetly. Thank you so much. Honorable Skosana and Honorable Shongwe, I'm handing over to you.
Sorry, Chair.
No, before, senior counsel wanted to say something.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. No, it was at the time when I think he was looking for some assistance on the dockets, and I was going to just point out perhaps which annexes he might want to refer to, but it seems we've passed that now. Thank you.
Chair, thank you. Just a quick one before Honorable starts. Are we sharing the time, or you're going to cap us in terms of 10 minutes of an alt, or taking is 20, or is it one time combined?
Your time is 40 minutes.
Okay.
It's 30 minutes for the full member and
Okay, can you please advise us when it's?
You must not even ask about your time because it's the discretion of the chair.
I won't fight you today. But kindly, when it's 30, please tell us so that I won't be told it has eaten into the 3
I have
minutes.
said that when you see the microphone upright, you must know that your time has petered out.
Sorry, Chair.
General Sibiya?
Chair, I want to ask a question in relation to the Honorable Member's Kosana. That because he's a complainant in my case, and this is the person I'm going to sit with at some point, stand against in court, because he's a complainant. And him using this platform now to solicit answers from me that I'm going to have to defend before court, to me, it's a very serious concern. This is the member that I feel is working with General Mkhwanazi, because the statement that was used by the General Mkhwanazi's team to go and open a case, his name is there. Now I must stand before the same member to cross-examine or to ask me questions. Now, I'm raising a concern.
Yeah.
And if I can be protected.
I'm going to protect you in this way. You are raising a legitimate concern, and then we may not even be seen trampling on your rights. What I will advise you to do, because I explained to you yesterday that sitting here as the committee, we do not have any power to decide on how we are composed. So, to protect your rights, I will advise you to decide if you want to respond to the question or not. If a question is asked to you, you can decide if you want to respond to it or not.
And if I say I don't want to respond to his questions?
No. We have to follow the process. You can't say, I don't want to respond to your questions. We must allow him to ask the questions. And then if you say, I reserve my right to comment, then it's okay.
Thank you, Chair. I think, Chair, there's a portal up, Chair. Sitting in front of us is Honorable Kosana, who was sent by Umkhonto Wesizwe. Umkhonto Wesizwe is the one that opened the case. Now, let me remind you quickly, Chair. At one stage, South African says Parliament did nothing when Honorable General Mkhwanazi came to Parliament on this matter. So Umkhonto Wesizwe took an initiative before, at the same time when Honorable General Mkhwanazi spoke about this matter and opened a case. It is Umkhonto Wesizwe, not to Honorable Kosana. It can be in a case where General Sibiya will be sitting with somebody else in court, not to Kosana, sent by Umkhonto Wesizwe. So I think the clarification is pure and clear, Chair, that he must answer questions. And when you say he must not answer questions, sorry, Chair, when you say he must not answer, he can decide on which questions to answer or not. He can say from number 1 to 30, no, I don't want to answer. No, I don't want to answer. Where are we going to do that?
No,
Chair?
I'm not saying that he must not answer.
No, Chair, you are saying that he must decide if he wants to answer or not.
Yes.
So if from number 1 to 100, he decides, okay, he's going to waste our time and say, he asks a question and then he says, no, I don't want to answer. No, I don't want, until number 100. What is that? Is it not the same as Uguti? You have instructed or somehow gave him an option not to answer. So I think this is separated from court. This is Parliament. He must answer to Parliament. Here is answering to a parliamentarian who's sent by South Africans, not a person who opened the case sent by Umkhonto Wesizwe. Two matters are separate, I think. Thank you.
Honorable Nomvalo.
Chairperson, thank you very much. My apologies. When the matter was raised, I was responding to a nature call. I'm actually surprised that the matter has been raised by a witness, because if my memory serves me well, The position that we took yesterday in relation to this matter is that there will be a legal advice from the Office of the Speaker. But before that, a member, Andile, from the technical team, made an indication that as far as the applicable law is concerned, there is no crisis here. Honorable Kosana can continue to participate in a meeting. And that decision was communicated to the witness, Chair. I remember you conveying, and you even made a reference to the terms of reference. The witness said, it's fine, Chair, if that is a position, I will continue. But please note that I had a protest. Those were his reply. For him to come and raise the same issue here, even when it was better clarified yesterday, I think it is undesirable, Chairperson. We had a position on this matter. If there's anything that is outstanding, is a legal advice from the Office of the Speaker. If still the committee members are not satisfied with a response that was given by Andile, we also even said, as the MK party, if there is a legal advice coming from the Office of the Speaker, we will also consult our own senior counsel in this regard to ensure that there is a strike of balance and we are satisfied with what has been communicated to us as a legal position. So I really understand, maybe the witness has forgotten, but my memory reminds me that this is a position that we agreed upon yesterday.
Honorable Matthys.
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing me after. Okay, just a few things, Chair. I think we are keep regressing on this matter, right? So we have gotten an opinion from our parliament lawyers, and not just on these matters, but when we were discussing recusal on a lot of different members. It's clear, number one, Chair, that there's no independent member of parliament in South Africa. We are political party democracy. The things that we do it on behalf of our political party. The next thing we're going to have here is that we're going to be told when Cyril Ramaphosa appears here that the EFF or the Commander-in-Chief must recuse himself because we've got a case against him in the Constitutional Court. That's where we are heading. Further, Chair, even if any of these members from their political parties, we as a committee take a decision, which we don't have the power to do, both within our terms of reference and within the rules of parliament, because the rules don't cover the issue of recusal, right? We're political party members. Nothing stops the other member from the same party or the party of holding that position. So I can recuse myself because I've opened a case on behalf of a party. That doesn't mean that Honorable Malema, we don't have the same position, and when he comes here, he presents the same thing. The same thing, Honorable Kosana, even if he makes a decision to recuse himself, it doesn't stop his other members from asking exactly the same questions. So I think we are really wasting our time, and we just need to move. I don't even think we need to have a legal opinion about this. It's very, very clear. There's nothing in both our rules of parliament and both in this ad hoc committee that says that members or gives us as a committee or even as parliament for any members to recuse themselves unless they've gone through some ethics process or powers and privileges process, and none of us have done that. Thank you, Chair.
Is there any other honorable member who wants to speak on this matter? Okay. Look, the witness yesterday raised a matter on the participation of Honorable Skosana in the proceedings. And members are right, we explained to General Sibiya that in terms of the rules that we have, we are unable to eject any member from this committee. What we can do is just to bring that matter to the attention of the Speaker of Parliament. That is what the rules empower us. So the matter which General Sibiya raises is different from participation in the committee. He is saying in the records that you have in the courts and the police, the complainant is Honorable Skosana. And so, do you allow him to ask me questions? And I respond. And where I'm sitting as the chairperson, I can't prescribe how the questions must be answered. I can't force the witness to say, you are going to answer in this way. And that is why I say, if Honorable Skosana is going to ask questions, let's allow him to ask the questions that he has and hear what the responses of the witness are. If the witness says, no comment, that is a response. It's a response. Because we must not run these proceedings in such a way that we become unfair to a member of parliament, or we also become unfair to the witness. And if you remember, I have been emphasizing this point that the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa is written in the name of the citizens of this country. That is how it is written. It's in the name of the citizens. So when General Sibiya appears before us as a committee of parliament, he does not forfeit his status as a citizen of this country. And the honorable member as well is a citizen. I think what the honorable members from the MKP, if they feel that there may be a problem, they may decide to ask the same questions through another honorable member. But I mean, you are going to put the chair in a very difficult position if every time a question has been asked, especially that when we started the proceedings, General Sibiya put it on record here and said, you must know that I'm getting into these proceedings under protest. It's not something that he's raising now. So can I get indication from you, honorable members from the MKP, if you want to proceed, Honorable Skosana, to ask, or you pass your questions to?
Thank you, Chair. It will depend on the response
Okay.
from the witness. If the question which I have, as you said, if you say no comment, I'm going to leave those questions. There's a lot of questions besides that, but
Yeah.
I just want to say here, Chair, before you allocate me the minutes, I don't want us to mislead the nation and the members, honorable members, that I am talking to General Mkhwanazi. That statement alone is misleading. I sit in the South African Police Service Portfolio Committee here. I mean, dealing with South African Police Service. I sit in the Police Portfolio Committee. I deal with everyone across the board, from the minister to the top management of South African Police Service, and to the ordinary member, a complainant on the ground.
Yeah.
So it can't be right to say, maybe I'm a friend, maybe no, I'm not a friend.
You are raising
I'm at work.
You are raising a valid point, Honorable Skosana, and let's get Honorable Sibiya to withdraw that part that says you opened a case because you are talking to General Mkhwanazi.
Order, Chair. Can I raise a point of order? Chair, I don't think it would be correct for you to direct a witness how to answer or what he must do. He's made the point, and I think you rather want to ask him if he wants to withdraw it.
Because now it looks like you are saying to General Sibiya, withdraw that. So maybe you want to ask whether he thinks he wants to withdraw it. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Uh, General Sibiya, when you made a statement how you feel about Honorable Skosana asking you questions, you made an additional statement apart from the protest that you registered with us. You made an additional statement that goes to say he opened the case because he talks to General Mkwanas. Do you stand by that statement? I think it's what the honorable member is asking me to check with you.
Yeah, I stand by the statement for simple reasons. The fact that the honorable member went and opened a case, and then the next thing, the details of the case and the statement and everything is what the investigating officer of the case is using in applying for a search warrant. As far as I'm concerned, there has been communication. And I'm not doing it to disrespect the House. If ever, in one way or another, it gets to a point where I'm regarded of being out of order, I really apologize and I would withdraw if that is the case. But if I'm not wrong, may I be allowed to still stand to that statement? Because remember, Chair, that there have been marches against me as well from the MK party. And it's the same MK party that opens a case against me. And the MK party, it was in support of General Mkwanas. The march was saying in support of General Mkwanas. And now, again, the MK party opened a case against me. And now I'm standing before an honorable member and who's now must ask questions from me, and these are the questions of which the honorable member statement, or what he was mentioned in the papers that conducted the search and seizure at my house. So to me, Chair, is deeply involved in this whole thing that is going on, unfair thing that is going on against me. So I feel that here, I'm standing in front of.
Yeah, I think the part that Honorable Sangoni wanted to hear is not the motivation for why you think it will be unfair for him to ask you questions. Is whether you stand by the part that says he talks to General Mkwanas.
I stand by that, Chair.
Okay. Do you want to continue, Honorable Skosana?
Oh, yes, I want to continue, Chair.
Before you continue, let me hear Honorable Sols.
Chair, this very thing that's happening now is what that concept wanted to avoid. That if someone is in conflict, because now we are discussing a case that's not part of this process, but it was exactly to avoid that. But my question of clarity on a matter of procedure, I asked it yesterday, but it wasn't responded to after the parliamentary legal advisor gave the legal opinion on the matter. So I just want to have a clear understanding. The advice was, or it sounded like it was, that honorable members on the committee is not required to be impartial. So just for procedure, not specifically for this matter, but in general, are we not required to be impartial? Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Look, we must move forward. Don't ask the chair the questions that he does not have answers. Let me tell you, honorable members.
Chair, can I just say, sorry? that
Yeah.
I'm not asking you specifically.
Yeah, let me tell you how this thing is. The rules that we have say that any matter which we may pick up must be brought to the attention of the Speaker of Parliament. And sitting like this as a committee of Parliament, I have said that we don't have any authority, neither of us. I can't instruct Honorable Skosana out of this meeting. Neither can I instruct any other member of the committee. I don't have those powers. It will be arbitrary if we want to try and do. We find ourselves in a situation like this, a situation which we do not know how to extricate ourselves unless the Speaker gives a directive. And remember, as a chair of the committee, I can't write to the Speaker of Parliament without your consent. That's why there is a need for a committee meeting first and say, we now write to the Speaker of Parliament, we tell her that this is what is happening. General Sibiya was here before us. He registered a protest in the proceedings as the Speaker of Parliament because the rules say we must report the matter to you. We reported the matter to you, and then we will wait to hear from you how we must proceed. For now, to save these proceedings, let's allow the honorable members to ask questions to General Sibiya. May I finish? Honorable Sols. Yeah, your hand can go down. I'm going to allow you a chance to speak. We allow the honorable members to ask General Sibiya questions, and General Sibiya will respond. Yeah. And if you are not happy with any response that he gives, you can raise your hand and say, but is there anything that you further that you may want to say, General Sibiya? And then he will tell you, yes, I have more that I can say, or I have nothing more to say. Honorable Sols.
Yes, Chair. I'm asking on a matter of procedure for how we're going to move forward, because the honorable member from the MKP based his response on the advice given by the parliamentary legal advisor. And that advice was that we are not required to be impartial. So apart from this here, I want to know procedurally as we go forward, is it true or correct that we are not expected to be impartial for procedure? Then
It's not for me to rule on that matter. The Speaker of Parliament, the office of the Speaker of Parliament, is the one that will respond to matters like this. That is why
then, Chair, you should say
I want to plead with honorable members that the situation that we face is our situation. It's not the situation of the chairperson of the committee. The rules of this House say take all these matters and elevate them to the office of the Speaker. And in your terms of reference, honorable members, are saying that you are the ones who take decisions on any matter. So the chair will wait for that moment when you have taken a decision as an ad hoc committee that a letter has to be written to the Speaker to inform her office about these developments. And so for now, I'm going to request that we proceed. I'm requesting you, honorable members, that we proceed.
So for clarity, Chair, that means for now, we should not base any of our actions on that advice until we hear from the Speaker. Is that what we're saying? We are ignoring the advice.
The committee must hear what the Speaker of Parliament is saying. Your rules say bring the matter to the attention of the Speaker. That must be the understanding. Honorable Sangwen.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. And please, my intention is not to derail the proceedings, but I just wanted to say that in terms of the legal advice, well, the legal advice, yes, that we had received yesterday, as well as the legal opinion that we had asked for tomorrow. Personally, I mean, this is not a party position, but personally, I had been convinced by the arguments of Umkhonto weSizwe Party. For example, I don't believe that impartiality is a precondition for rationality and so forth. But the point that I was trying to go to, Chair, is can we request that when we get the legal opinion, the written legal opinion tomorrow, the matter that now arises in this meeting, which we didn't have before, where the witness himself says that he feels prejudice, do we have any precedent of such a matter in Parliament, and how has it been handled? I'm worried that this testimony may get a bit difficult because now General Sibiya is going to cast aspersions on the member and so forth and so forth. So where we have a situation where a person or a witness appearing before Parliament has said, I do not want to be engaged by this person, I feel my rights are prejudiced, how do we handle it? I'm not disagreeing with what the chair is saying. Let's proceed if General Sibiya has agreed that we proceed, but I do want a reflection in the legal opinion on what his rights are. Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Nombalo.
Chair, I just want to make a kind plea to you as the chairperson of the meeting. As the MK party, we request to be protected in this meeting. The witness has made serious allegations against the MK party. We made it on record that it's the MK party that opened the case against General Sibiya. It's impossible for 58 members to go to a police station and open one docket and be complainants, all of them. Skosana was delegated by the MK party. Now, General Sibiya, in his attempts to subvert the MK party, says the case was opened because Skosana is in communication with General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Chair, we're not taking that lightly because the case, I think I said it 10 times yesterday, that the case was never opened by Skosana. Skosana was a messenger. Now, as the MK party were being insulted here, that the reason why we opened that case is because of a relationship with Skosana and General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. We opened that case because a press briefing was made, and that doesn't mean that we're in support of General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. We believe that the allegations that he made need to be investigated by a police officer, and it ends there. For him to come and cast aspersions here, Chair, and you are not protecting us, really is uncalled for. He must not do that in future. You have a responsibility to protect both us as members and the witness, Chairperson. Thank you very much. I just wanted to register that.
And remember, I have exercised that responsibility. I called the general to withdraw that statement. And your fellow member from the African National Congress said, may I check with the general if, you remember, honorable members, that I called on the general to withdraw. And a fellow member of this committee said, no, check with him if he stands by that statement. And he says, look, I'm not withdrawing. You say you're not withdrawing. That is your view.
This is how I feel, Chair.
Okay. So, members, let's do this. Let's proceed. Let's ask General Sibiya questions and hear what his responses are.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I just want to say this is not personal. This is not personal. I haven't instructed any policeman to go and confiscate the gadgets of General Sibiya or any other thing. Once you open a case, it ends there. I don't know, I'm not an investigator, I'm not a policeman. I don't know what happened whatever happened, I guess they were doing their work like us here. And we cannot afford to say that the witness, because it will be a contempt of court if the witness choose not to account to Parliament. But I'll start by saying to the Deputy Commissioner, General Sibiya. General, last night you said that there was no reluctance on the road to take in terms of the disbanding of the PKTT during the Portfolio Committee meeting, which we had here, if you remember, because we have meetings with you and with the top management of South African Police Service, regularly so. Now, can you confirm if the presentation by Lieutenant General Kumalo on that day, which you said it was endorsed by the National Commissioner, as presented in Parliament on the 5th of March, recommended a phase or an immediate disbandment of the PKTT?
It recommended a phase-out approach.
Now, the issue of immediate, which yesterday was an issue, why then immediate was immediate?
As I explained yesterday, Chair, that when we say immediate, we were saying the process must start immediately. And when we say the process must start immediately, it means from today, start the process of disbanding. From now, you can start immediately. And this, even as you can see, is consistent with what is said in that statement, in that document of the 17th of January, to say stakeholder must be engaged, internal and external must be engaged, this must happen, and now it gave a roadmap of what was supposed to happen, which means everything was going to happen according to the roadmap. Up until the next morning on the 6th, when they gave an action plan themselves and said, in winding down, this is what we are going to do.
Clarity on this will help to confirm the National Commissioner position, because in your statement, it appears to indicate that the National Commissioner did not express any reservation regarding the decision to disband the PKTT. It suggests that he took part in several meetings related to the process, and at no point did he or he voice any objection or concern about how the disbandment would be handled. Do you agree with that?
I don't, because honorable members, you will remember that even at the Madlanga Commission, the National Commissioner admitted that no, he did not object, and they asked him whether can you carry out any unlawful instructions. He said it was career limiting. So the bottom line is that they never, at no stage, the National Commissioner ever objected openly so. In my case, with all the documents, from my corner, everything that I was implementing, the documents that I received from the Office of the National Commissioner were saying, do it this way. And then whatever that he says come from him, it's not in writing in any way, to me, directed to me at least.
Unfortunately, I said in this committee that we are not a subcommittee of Madlanga Commission, so I don't follow it. For me, we are fresh. You know, all the questions which I'm posing to you are very fresh. You know, it's not like I'm undermining anyone, but I just want to put it clear. General, according to you then, I'm quoting in verbatim the presentation from the particular meeting, our meeting on the 5th of March. What was meant by the de-establishment or disbandment, which will take any form of transition from the PKTT to that component which you spoke about, of serious and violent crime within the division, detective, and forensic services. The transition will ensure continuity of cases, particularly those who are under investigation and those that are in court. The word transition appears twice in the presentation, and words have been meaning general. In your view, is it possible that something is in transition immediately?
Yes, the transition meaning that we will then take it from this team, PKTT, to murder and robbery unit. This is transition from that to this. And it will take form in a phase-out approach. Meaning that the phase-out approach says the first phase will be to deliver the case dockets to the murder and robbery unit, which is the phase they started, they carried out.
Now, was it not only yourself and the chief of staff who were in favor of that?
No.
It's crucial, General, to separate to separate NASCOM acceptance of disbanding the PKT from his views or the method which you thought was correct. He may have agreed to disband, am I right? Possibly under pressure, as this was an instruction from the minister. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree.
Now, yesterday you said to us here that you are an accounting officer, inverted commas.
Never said that.
No, no. I will remind you, General. One, you said that General Mkhwanazi undermined you as his senior, am I right?
Yes.
Are you aware that as you said yourself, let me just give you that. Are you aware that the accounting officer in the South African Police Service nationally is NASCOM? Do you agree?
Yes.
Are you aware that he originated those powers from the statute? You cannot have that power at all. You only have delegated powers. Now, the provincial commissioner, Mkhwanazi or anyone else, Patekile, they originate their power like the national commissioner at provincial level. Do you agree?
Yes.
So why are you saying Mkhwanazi undermines you?
Like I'm saying, Honorable Chair, I think yesterday I did read out my delegation and then my functions, duties and functions as the Deputy National Commissioner and the legal framework that actually suggests what are my responsibilities. The National Commissioner, even in his own words, said there's no gap, there's no any other member between me and him. It's him, ourselves as the Deputy National Commissioners, then the divisional commissioners and provincial commissioners under us. So in other words, I'm a Deputy National Commissioner, I'm accountable to the National Commissioner, but the provincial commissioners and any other, they are below the Deputy National Commissioners.
Let me repeat again. So are you saying it's correct for you to say you can come to Mpumalanga? You are senior when you come to Mpumalanga to the provincial co-commissioner?
I am.
In terms of powers, hence I'm asking you as a deputy commissioner, that the provincial commissioner, his powers comes from the state. He's an accounting officer at provincial level. Do you agree on that?
I do.
Now, when you come to the province, are you usurping, usurping his powers when you come to the province?
Not at all.
Yeah, hence I'm asking you, why are you saying Mkhwanazi undermines you?
He undermines me, because, I mean, we are both well-trained members from the college, from being a constable. You get trained as to the rank level structures. And you know which one is junior, which one is more senior to the other. And that is the case, that will never change.
We'll come back to that because fortunately I worked before the General. If the PKTT was effective in stabilizing political killings, then why it was necessary to disband it immediately without consulting Masemula and Mkwanazi?
I think that's a question that you can pose, that can be posed to the minister.
What is your view as the Deputy Commissioner?
My view is that I received an instruction to disband from the National Commissioner to communicate the letter of the minister to the team.
Yeah, I just wanted to find out on that regard. You said Brigadier Lituke, if I remember.
Litoko is the
Litoko, yes.
Chief of Staff in the Office of the National Commissioner.
Yeah. So he gave you a letter.
She
gave you a letter.
sent a letter.
That letter was signed by who?
It's an email, doesn't need to be signed.
Now, in your office, you have staff in your office, am I right?
Correct.
If your staff is giving one of your divisional co-commissioner or one of the deputy, General Musikili, does your staff have those powers to send and instruct anyone?
100%.
They do have that.
They do.
Now you just said to yourself that there's hierarchy. By nature, police is paralegal, am I right?
Correct.
Now, can a brigadier instruct a general, major general or a lieutenant general?
From that office, a letter and communication that come from the higher office is an instruction of that higher office.
Now, if NASCOM says to you, I've never given that brigadier that instruction, what would be your response? Have you verified that letter that it was coming direct from the commissioner?
Remember, the NASCOM already indicated that he told them to write letters to the Deputy National Commissioner and say, write a report. So it comes from the National Commissioner and it's confirmed.
Let me give you a reference, if you remember. On the PEE matters, there's an issue which is in court because some directives were given verbally. So do you agree that if somebody sent a letter which is not signed by the accounting officer, is legit?
I don't know the facts in that PPE matter, but what I have and what I know and the working system and the standard practice is that the National Commissioner, even myself, I'll come and tell the staff officer or the PA and say, I want you to write a letter to General Kumalo. The National Commissioner wants to have feedback in relation to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please send that letter. They are well trained and they know what to write. And they will write the letter and they will send it to me or they bring it and say, are you happy with this? Then after I said yes, they will send. So in this case, even all the correspondences, you can check all the correspondence that come from General Brigadier Letoko and General Sebola. They represent the National Commissioner, and this is the standard practice in the police.
General, you've been in the police force for almost 3 decades.
Correct.
Police Act Section 5. Can you just paraphrase for us?
Section?
Section 5 of the Police Act.
I need to read it verbatim because I don't know.
You're in verbatim, it's fine, it's fine.
Yeah, I need to see it because I don't want to quote something wrong. Section 5. What does it remind me? I will then take it from there.
Let me say this to you. You cannot take any directive from a lower level. You can't take an instruction from a brigadier or from a sergeant as a matter of fact. As you said yourself now, that you are senior. But we are saying to us that a brigadier, in fact, even a colonel can give you instructions and say, NASCOM has said that has to happen. For instance, if a brigadier says to you, NASCOM say you must disband crime intelligence today, are you going to verify that or are you going to take that instruction?
No, like once a letter of this nature comes from the Chief of Staff of the Office of the National Commissioner, it is an instruction. If a letter comes from Major General Sebola of the National Commissioner's Office, it is an instruction. And if you are not clear about it or the instruction is somehow somehow illegal or contradictory or concerning, it is my duty now to go and verify with the National Commissioner because, or I will tell the National Commissioner that NASCOM, I received this document, but do you know the consequences of this, or are you sure this is what you want us to really communicate? Because I know of 1, 2, 3, 4, and this may result into 1, 2, 3, 4. You will say, oh, I think maybe let's put it this way. It's when you think there is a situation.
So according to you, you don't have to sign a letter, even if it's a matter of national importance, as long as it comes from that office. Without verification, you can carry those orders.
You can. If it's lawful, you can.
Thank you. Now, once you were with the municipality, the competency of the vetting, where does that fall to?
It falls with the SSA.
Why when you were the head, you said that this, you were cleared by the municipality security head, the vetting?
Just
In the city of Johannesburg.
Honorable Member, you asked me a question and said the security competency, where does it fall? And I said SSA.
Yes.
And you're asking a question that I think is unrelated a little bit to that what you just asked. I want to understand that question.
You know why I'm asking? When you were at the city of Johannesburg, who vetted you?
SSA.
SSA. So the municipality did not vet you.
The municipality don't have a vetting system in place. I introduced a system whereby all the senior managers of the city must be vetted.
By who?
SSA.
Thank you. Now, let's come to this general. Intelligence-driven operations and serious dockets are kept safe and no need to write the diaries every day, am I right?
There's nothing like that.
Tell us, how does it work?
When you work and you open a docket, it's your job to update your SAP 5, your everything that you do, you write in your pocketbook or in your diary and you update the docket.
Intelligence inquiries dockets are registered to run. The main dockets can be updated only when new information emerges from inquiries or during arrest, am I right?
Repeat that, sir.
Dockets can be updated only when there's new information emerging from inquiries.
No.
No, it should not happen like that.
No. Every day, every now and then, in your docket, you will write a brought forward date. In other words, every 14 days, you must give feedback to the complainant, but no docket should lie around for more than 3 years. Every 14 days, a docket must receive attention, if you have many.
Now, on the 121 or 118, whatever the number is, you distance yourself from dockets, am I right?
Yes.
You never gave any instruction for those dockets to come to your office or to the office of General Kumalo.
I wrote a letter that says they must be taken to where they belong.
Where do they belong?
Murder and robbery unit.
So it was wrong for those dockets to agree for those dockets to be removed from where they were supposed to be initially.
No, it was not wrong.
So they did the right thing by removing those dockets and bring them to the office where you said you don't have a safe, you don't have anything. Those dockets gathered dust, and you are not part of it at all.
Remember, the instruction was to have them withdrawn there where they were, to be taken to the relevant office, which is the murder and robbery unit. In other words, from a task team that has been directed to disband to the murder and robbery unit, as even presented by the same team in Parliament and in the very next day in terms of their action plan.
But you said that the task team is not disbanded, am I right? It's still on, it's still going on.
Yes.
Now, why are you saying they were supposed to be taken to another unit?
They were, because remember the whole agreement was that they must disband, but I mean, if they stubbornly refuse to disband, there's nothing one can do.
Is it the responsibility of General Kumalo to keep those dockets?
He was the project manager.
Now, National Commissioner praised General Kumalo, and yesterday you said, in your own word, that he doesn't have the experience, he doesn't have the knowledge. Are you contradicting what National Commissioner has told honorable members in the nation?
If General Kumalo can put an investigation of crime certificate in front of this committee, I will withdraw my words. But if he doesn't have one, it's not an investigator.
Yeah, but my question is, are you contradicting the National Commissioner when he was praising General Kumalo? You are saying the National Commissioner is wrong.
Well, the National Commissioner believes so much in General Kumalo, and what the National Commissioner said is what he said, what I'm not saying.
Yeah, but remember, you are the deputy commissioner. My question is, you don't agree with the National Commissioner in the respect of the competency of General Kumalo. You are questioning his credentials.
No, I say he does not have investigation, and I also said he has done a good job. I've never said he didn't do a good job, but the bottom line is, I'm saying he does not have investigation as training.
General, yesterday you stated many issues here with us when the evidence leader was questioning you. Page 9, paragraph 28 of your core bundle, that when Masemula, as an accounting officer of South African Police Service, asked the Minister Mkhunu to provide reason for his decision to disband PKTT, on the 6th of March, he failed to provide reasons for his decision. In your opinion, do you think it is acceptable for a leader to take such a crucial decision in absence of any stated justification?
Chair, I want to understand where you are coming from. I understand the question so that I can respond. I heard what you say, but I'm trying to make sense out of how you're putting it, so, or to connect it. So please repeat the question for me.
In page 9 of your bundle,
Yes.
paragraph 28.
Page?
28.
On page 28. Yeah, I'm at page 28, paragraph.
No, page 9, page 20, I mean paragraph 28. Page 9, paragraph 28. There's many bundles anyway, so there's many documents, but on your own bundle.
Paragraph 9, page 9 of my bundle. It doesn't have page 28.
I'm not saying page 28. I'm saying paragraph 28.
I don't have in paragraph, in page 9. It doesn't have, let me see. Let me go.
Look at 12 and then check on 28.
Yes, paragraph, page 12.
Yeah, so the question, let me rephrase it for you to make things easier. General, you stated on that paragraph 28, on your core bundle, when Masemula, as an accounting officer, asked Mkhunu to provide reason for his decision to disband PKTT, On the 6th of March, he failed to provide reasons for his decision. In your opinion, I'm just saying in your opinion, let me finish. In your opinion, do you think it is acceptable for a leader to take such a crucial decision in the absence of any justification?
Chair, just a second, Chair. The honorable member is referring me to page 12,
Yes,
paragraph 28.
yes.
Can I read it?
No,
Because when I look at it,
let me,
it's not what the honorable member
It's in a copper,
is talking about.
yeah, the evidence leader will help us on that. But why is doing that? We'll come back to that. Do you think that Minister Mkuno justification that the task team was established because of an executive decision? Therefore, an executive decision is all that is needed to disband it as a matter of justification to disband the task team.
I would like to leave that response to the National Commissioner, to the Minister.
To the minister. Does this not create a dangerous precedent, allowing the executive to informally or casually make a withdrawal decision in the absence of justification, in your view?
That question I would like to leave to the Minister.
Okay. During your teenager as the acting national commissioner, you stated in your witness statement that Ms. Vusumuzi Matlala visited you to complain about a tender awarded to him. And you indicated that you will discuss the matter with the national commissioner upon his return. Why did you deem it necessary to wait for the national commissioner's return before addressing the matter?
Because it was beyond me.
This time it was beyond you.
Yes.
But remember, on that issue of disbandment, you said, as I said to you earlier, you took a letter from Brigadier Litoke, am I right? Litoko. You took that instruction, am I right?
Correct.
Without verification, am I right?
Correct.
Now, on this one, why you wanted the National Commissioner to give you an approval? Because you were acting National Commissioner.
These are two separate things.
And I know that, but what I'm saying, why do you have on Vusmatlala in particular, but on the matter of national interest, the matter of disbanding, you did not do that?
These are two separate things, completely altogether. The National Commissioner's Office and the communication within the police, this is how it works. Vusumuzi Matlala is not a police official, it's not the top structure of the police. She doesn't have a staff officer that I must listen to. Now, in other words, if you are a minister in the South African Police Service or any minister for any department, you have staff that reports to your office. And that staff, including your PA, is entitled or is empowered or is delegated to write letters on your behalf. And those letters are deemed to be coming from you.
Now, I'm going to sit on that. You chose to act on a directive given by Brigadier Litoko without a consultation with the National Commissioner by virtue of an email, which was an email we know. Do you think that was appropriate to do? I'm still asking again. I want you, because you're under oath, to say yes.
Very much appropriate, and this is the standard practice. This is how everybody works in the department, and this is the order of the day. And even the National Commissioner confirmed himself that he did give that instruction to Brigadier Letoko to write that email.
So you say it's a standard practice in your office for decision of a considerable importance to be taken or communicated by junior staff members?
In the organization.
That's what I'm saying. Are you saying that to us?
It is.
Specifically, it's appropriate for such communication as demonstrated on SB3 of an annexure which your witness statement to be signed off by a junior staff in your office without your own signature. That's how you run the affairs in your office.
Yes.
Leadership failure or disconnecting incinerating officials, in my view. But I will paraphrase for you, General. It seems that there's a lot of matters where you are in disagreement with the assertion made by General Mkhwanazi, as shown in your submission before this committee yesterday. I want to ask you, on the 6th of July, in his media briefing, Mkhwanazi said there are criminal syndicates that have infiltrated law enforcement. Do you agree with him? If you do, please tell us why. And if you don't, please tell us why.
I will never deny that there are criminal syndicates that have infiltrated the police or criminal justice system. It happens on a daily basis in all the provinces, including in KZN, where he is. You do have those people that are connected to the police, that are connected to the prosecutors, that are connected to lawyers, and sometimes they may not be criminals per se, but at the ultimate end, you find that they're involved in criminal activity. But this thing is not unique to Gauteng.
Will you then agree that it presents a serious concern when high-ranking officials within SAPS hold conflicting views on the state of law enforcement in this country, and that disconnect and undermines cohesion, public confidence, and the integrity of our law enforcement?
Agreed.
Do you agree?
Yes.
General, let me come to the issue as well, which you are being accused of for many years. When Senzo Meyiwa was killed, did you went to the scene?
I'm actually happy that I'm being asked on the issue of Senzo Meyiwa, and it's an issue that I wish I could spend time on it to clarify, so that finally South Africans can get to hear the truth. And allow me, Chair, to deal with this Senzo Meyiwa issue. When Senzo Meyiwa, after Senzo Meyiwa was killed, I was the head of the Hawks in Gauteng. I was at home in Pretoria. I got a call from the acting provincial commissioner, who was General Musikiri at that time. I was at home at night. I didn't even know about the shooting. And it was around about 11 at night. And remember, Senzo was killed after 7:30, round about 7:30, early evening. And what I had to do as the head of the Hawks was to call a team to say, let's meet there. It's just like when a serious crime has been committed, we move, we go there. And what happened there is that as we moved, all of us, we got there. I ran straight to hospital. And simply because of the fact Senzo Meyiwa is a national key point. It's a national asset. It's not ordinary member where someone can say someone has been gunned out, then as the head of the house, I'll also go there. But because it was a national goalkeeper, we all had to react, and we went. Even General Musikiri, who was the acting provincial commissioner, we all went and we met at the police station, at the hospital. When I got to the hospital, it was packed, even in the passage, even in the ward where he was lying motionless. And everybody was crying there. Even myself, I could not make my way through into the ward. I saw him lying inside there, but from outside the ward. And then I realized that it won't work. I then said to General Musikiri, I will go to the house where now the investigation must start, because now the investigation process had to start. Now, for the investigation process to start, we then had to go to the scene of crime. When we get to the house where it happened, it was packed. Outside the yard, inside the yard, there was up and down movement in the house. I'm well trained when it comes to investigations. I'm 37 years doing what I'm doing. The very first thing is to take charge of the scene of crime. Mine was to give instructions and say, please, secure the scene, preserve the scene. This is a scene of crime. Now the team had to make sure that they remove everybody on site to outside the yard so that it can be cordoned, the scene of crime can be cordoned. Remember, I arrived late at night when this thing happened almost after 7:30, and the scene was already processed by the officials. It was processed, cleaned. The experts have done their work. Now, when I arrived there, I also found MEC Sizakele Nkosi Malubane and other generals were there. Now, ours, we come here as a fact-finding team. We come in here, we knock, we sit down in the sitting room. It's clean, there's no blood, there's no spotty that you can see or everything is in place. And then we sit, we listen, we ask questions, what happened? This one explained, this one explained, this one explained, this one explained. This is the normal course of attending to crime scene. The MEC was there also, we were all listening. And then from there, General Musigiri and them arrived from hospital to join us. There were other generals, including General Musigiri. We all listened. And thereafter, it was a question of, General, are you taking it or am I taking it? As the Hawks, do I take the matter to run with or are you taking it? Then she said to me, the National Commissioner, who was Maria Pierre then, said or suggested that this matter must be investigated by a team of experienced investigators. Now that already took us out of the way. Now we stood by when they made a press conference, a press briefing at that time that says there will be a team appointed to investigate and will run with this matter. We were standing by, no longer involved in the case. That is why even today, when this matter has been testified, I haven't submitted a statement, I haven't submitted never been called as a witness. It's almost at the end because I was not involved. I've seen messages that says I took $1 million and I did it, I shifted a firearm order. No. At what point would I have done that? So I just wanted to say to South Africans, I am not involved in the Senzo Meiwa case. I've never done anything wrong. And there have been many teams, more than 10 different teams that were set to investigate this thing. I have done nothing that can actually cause the matter to be, not to be successful.
Thank you, Chair. I'll just give one because there's a warning already there, a red light before my colleague takes over. The last one from me. Unfortunately, other issues are still under investigation because you said you are like a specialist, an expert when it comes to investigation. Because I don't want to eat time for my colleague. Can you confirm yes or no on the matter that that scene was not contaminated by your presence?
Not at all. It was never communicated by my presence. When I arrived, it was a done deal already. It was cleared. When you arrive and already it's trampled upon by many people, I was very late when we come there myself.
So were you the first person who arrived at the scene?
Not at all. I came after 12 there, when in fact this thing had happened after 7:30. So logically speaking, how can I be the first person to arrive past 12 when this thing happened at 12:30?
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Shongwe.
Ndaba, siyabingelela baba.
Sawubona baba.
Sawubona. Hey, makumele umuntu akhulume nawe ngathi udle intelezi, amehla vele angaboni indaba.
Ngiyathandaza.
Izolo before ngichubeka nje bengifuna ukubuza enye clarity seeking question. So bengisaba ukuthi uchair uzodla isikhathi sami ubuya ngishaya uchair yabona. Can you kindly assist me with ubandle le ku page 234 SB 19. Just the first blocks, ungifundise ukuyifunda lapha ya, mhlawumbe ungifundele. Ngiyibuza nje ngoba ngifuna ukufunda indlela yokuyifunda, akwangishaya ngesikhathi ngisho timekeeper.
Asambe, Chair.
Yeah, it is station Harding, ne?
Yebo,
It is CAS, which is case.
To double matter, yes.
A description there, it is alleged that the ANC member had a meeting at Ghost Town while driving near Green Water Tank. He was shot 2 times on the head and the neck and succumbed injuries on the scene. Bese ETIO, is that the investigating officer?
Yebo, Chair.
Now, in Khulala, outstanding, it analyzed section 205 to place, can I read the name, Chair? Okay, analyze section 205 and to place Tembelani Dlamini on the crime scene. Bese lapha it try to identify the suspect. Sihle Zigalal. I don't understand the outstanding. Is that outstanding or what? Please clarify this for me.
This is the investigation that needed to be conducted, that is outstanding. And by so saying, Chair, may I be sensitive to the fact that it's very much important. And that is why, Chair, it's very dangerous to mention the name, because this Sihle Zigalala does not necessarily mean that it is the current minister or deputy minister. So it's very dangerous to rely on the name that you find here. There are many names that you find that they are equal and they are they are similar to the name of some of our leaders. And in the meantime, now we begin to target the leader on something that it is not him, it is someone else. So may I request, Chair, that this document be really in the highest sensitivity it deserves, Chair.
All right. Should I continue with it, Chair, or just me?
No, you can continue. The documents have been made available to yourselves, and they are on record. But what the witness is requesting is that you may not read the names because they may be misinterpreted.
Now, as I was asking for clarity, Chair, I was saying, does it mean when you say analyze section 205, does it mean the placing of that suspect, or there's this name Yokala on this crime scene? And does it also mean try to identify the suspect as that suspect, does it mean exactly that, or it means something else?
When you read the docket, which is the double murder, Harding double murder, that was registered in 2016 on the 20th of 12. And it gives you the description of the case, that this is what is being alleged, that the ANC member had a meeting at Ghost Town while driving near a Green Water Tank, and he was shot 2 times on the head and neck and succumbed to injuries on the scene. Now, here's the investigating officer. Now, here my main intention was to point out that the last day of investigation of this matter, the last handwriting in the docket was on the 24th of March 2023. This is the last time this team looked at this docket. So in other words, for almost since 2023, 2003, this docket was never looked at. 2 years. It was not open, it's somewhere sitting gathering dust. Now, the rest, the information that is outstanding in this docket was to analyze the 205s and to place this person on the crime scene. In other words, it's when you apply for the communications from the cell phone providers, the car trackers and everything, and then you analyze that so that you can see that it gives you whether this person was there or not.
No, thank you. So this Sihle Zigalala that is here, was he arrested 2 years ago?
I thought, Chair, we agreed that the names are not
No,
going
you
to
said it's
be.
not the minister, just this one.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's why I say I'm not sure whether he's a minister or
We
not.
may pass. Do you agree with the relationship between Jackie Selibe no Glenn Agliotti made South Africans ukuthi bangawathemba amaphoyisa? And if you do agree, what do you think, or what should South Africans think, or what should they make of your relationship, if you have, between Brown Mokgotsi, who has relations with Ket Matlala?
Well, what I don't know is whether they are criminals or no. Ket Matala, I do know now that he's been arrested, but at that time, no one knew whether he was. That's why even the police awarded him a tender, because they didn't know apparently that he was involved in crime. Even myself, I didn't know if he was indeed a criminal. So, since one became aware that the man has been arrested, we cannot now further communicate or associate ourselves with him. But at that time, going backward, we didn't know.
So when Yazan?
I didn't know him up until he came for the first time to the office.
Okay. Asidlule lapho. Izolo ubufuna document yaka public protector, which you say it's the one that clears your name, correct? Do you agree with that document, that letter?
Yes.
Which one is it? Because there's a letter written 18 December, and there's a letter written 8 May 2022. Which letter are you referring to?
Can I be assisted legal team with my public protector report? Chair, isn't it that when I come now, I don't know which questions to expect, and as a result, the documents I have, but I couldn't bring everything here. So some of the documents, you may find that I don't have them immediately here, but before I leave here, I have them, there should be one here.
I think into ishizolo leyo uyibheka kanjalo le letter wangayiveza uqeda.
Legal team, do we have? But safe to say that the public protector mentioned there that I was employed by the city of Joburg and everything was procedural and legitimate, and as a result, there was no issue about my appointment.
I think singaxoxa ngayo ngoba uyayazi indlela yokukhuluma ngayo mphathi wami. Now that letter, before I ask you a question on that letter, in the SAPS, when one is subjected for vetting, and should that person fail vetting, do you continue to employ that person?
Is the discretion of the commander or the head to say these skills we need. However, this person did not make it through the vetting department, through vetting, but also depending on the sensitivity of the post that you hold. For an example, there are many members who don't have security clearance. Similar case that then Provincial Commissioner doesn't have. Provincial Commissioner Western Cape doesn't have, but yet they deal with sensitive information.
Because the letter ebhalwe advocate Bosisiwe Mkhwebane, who was then the former public protector, states that at the stage when he was investigating your case and he wrote the letter you are talking about, that clarifies you. She did not have the evidence ephelele. The city of Johannesburg concealed the evidence. Therefore, she came to those findings without this evidence that came there. One, it is the letter that was written by Ubrink speaking about you not passing a competency assessment report. Did you do a competency assessment and did you pass it or you didn't pass it?
I'm not surprised, Honorable, that It is that letter that come from Advocate Busiswe Mkhoban, but Advocate Busiswe Mkhoban was given all the information that she needed when she investigated, because remember, her team came, not herself. The whole team was sent to investigate, and she conducted an investigation, and she wrote a report. Now, after she was approached again by Mesuli Mlandu, after having been cleared in this report, she wanted to start again, and then we wrote to her and said, but advocate, you cannot review your own report. Then she wrote to the Hawks to investigate, and in the Hawks, I was cleared because the DPP refused to prosecute and said, but there's nothing here. And as a result, there was nothing. But I'm sitting with the report from the public protector that says, and it is important that we find it because it clears me. Now, as to the competency assessment, remember that when you get to the competency assessment, it's a document where they say to you, it's an exercise where they say to you, there's no right or wrong answer. This is just to look at your character and whether you are a strong person and which character you are. You don't really even need to spend time on this thing because there's no way you will get this thing right to say you are right or wrong. So I wrote what I wrote, and the result came the way they came and say, you can be suitable here and not here. That is what happened.
Why pass and why fail?
Well, I don't, it doesn't say you failed it like it's it's like whether you passed, what do you call it? Let me say it was not positive.
Why pass and why fail?
Okay, let me say I failed.
Okay. 2016 November, you were appointed as a unit head, right?
Yes.
But 2017 July, your job title changes to a HOD.
Yes.
It was converted according to the document of the public protector to an HOD. Did you convert that yourself as it is alleged that you appointed yourself to an HOD?
There's no way you can appoint yourself in a city. In a city is well regulated. The group head forensic investigation service was established by myself. It did not exist. There was GIRAS, which was an internal audit, but I had to start a group function that will take care of the city's properties. And that thing went through the council. They will say the items that were presented before council and council approved.
Okay.
And Chair, there's no way I could be the head of the DPCI and someone like Mesuli Mlandu want to come and tell me that I cannot be the head of a small group forensics within the city. And this was based on the fact that already there were some differences between myself and Mesuli. I do have correspondence here that he wrote himself to, firstly, he wrote a report regarding suspected clandestine rogue unit, and then he also wrote to the late Jeff Makubu, may his soul rest in peace, where in this one, that was written on the 20th of September 2019, he says, reference is made to my report regarding the above matter, which was received by Mayor's office on 16 September 2019, a meeting with you, Chief Operation Officer, Executive Mayor, and MMC Finance held on 18 September to discuss same. Noting that this meeting confirmed that the officials of GVs traveled to Eastern Cape and purport to be conducting a security vetting with my previous employer, which never materialized. Further noting that the meeting also requested that I should allow that this matter be dealt through internal processes instead of reporting same to the South African Police Intelligence Structures. Request which I succeeded acceded to without difficulty. Further note, while such internal processes are being followed, kindly be advised that me and my family must also satisfy ourselves of the nature and extent risk we are exposed to from the confirmed clandestine and rogue activities of the officials of GVs. This is important in regard is heard that the said officials acted with impunity, disregard the political and administrative authorities of the city, and abuse the resources just to execute an unlawful criminal project of hitting my person, career, and reputation. Further noting that I bear the responsibility to assess such risk of my person, career, and reputation, and such is urgent that I should mitigate and protect myself and my family from the potential adverse consequences of the clandestine, illegal, and rogue activities. Also noting that covert operations are generally life-threatening, your office is requested to cause these officials to write Son's affidavit and detail the following: the person who authorizes their clandestine, illegal, rogue activities, the involvement of logistical planning, including their travel arrangement, as well as any other officials, the place these officials visited, people they met, and the role, the information that they have gathered, and source of such information, and how such information has been used. Further noting the agency to mitigate any immediate risk to me and family in Gauteng and Eastern Cape, kindly request. So this is the letter that he wrote when he heard that we are conducting a vetting on everyone. And it was the whole city, it was unfortunately not him alone. And I do have files, Chair, but this matter really, I felt that, quite honestly speaking, it have been dealt with by the public protector. There were Moody and Robinson investigations conducted and all cleared me. State security investigated, the Hawks cleared me. For this thing, for people to take advantage of the current moment, the current situation, and be throwing this thing again through the back door, that we must re-listen to this thing that were investigated many years ago. To me, I find it really unfortunate, Chair, and I wish I could be protected under such situation, because these matters were investigated, closed. And if they were investigated and closed, why bring them here? Is all I'm asking, because the context within which General Mkhwanazi was making his press conference was, in terms of political interference, was based on the 121 dockets and the disbandment. Now we find ourselves dating back 5 years ago, former Minister Mthethwa, the late 2011, which I find unfortunate. Now this thing is being reversed again through the back door again. I don't think we should allow that, Chair. But not that I'm here to tell the Chair and the committee members that what to ask or what not to ask. I was just raising a concern that personally I feel that they're throwing it through the back door.
Angithi Babu Sibiya mfokandaba indaba isekuthenini kuthiwa ama-politicians and senior officials of certain positions benza izinto engaqondile ukuvikelana. So yingakho le matter ibuyile. So ngicela ngingaphathi kabi lokho. Ngoba the same letter wena othe uthembele kuyona yaka public protector. It's the same public protector that says the city of Johannesburg yafihla i-evidence kwi-team yakhe ekuthenini kuze afikelele kulesa sinqumo asithathile. So uphinde uyabhala futhi in this one. That's why ke ekugcineni athi we are at liberty to confirm that information revealed by Mr. Brink above, in particular the competency assessment report of Mr. Sibiya and the non-approval of the municipal council. Can I ask ukuthi, when that matter yakho yokushintsha position and the grading of his salary from 1.2 million to 1.8, who was supposed to report that matter to your council?
It was the city manager, and all the processes were followed. It went through council, and council approved. So it was not a private deal somewhere in an office.
So it's not correct what the public protector is saying here, Wuti. However, the report, sorry, this was not reported to the municipal council.
No, it was reported to the municipal council.
And who was the mayor at that time? From which party, if I may
I
ask?
think it's former Mayor Herman Mashaba.
He has never said anything to you about this matter of you being put to, of the graying of your salary from 1.2 to 1.8. Are you also saying he's the one who appointed you or the municipal manager at that time?
This is the municipality that appointed me. The same applies to the same Mesuli Mlandu himself, the same process that was followed to have mine promoted or increased. His salary, his own salary was increased drastically from where it was to where it is now. So it's the same process.
Are you aware that the public protector in his resolution said they must open a case against this issue?
Which she did.
And what happened to the case?
They investigated and the DPP declined to prosecute.
All right. No, thank you. Asidluleke lapho mfaka baba. General Mkhwanazi said you procured prohibited equipment in the city of Johannesburg with the assistance of Paul O'Sullivan. And we have seen a letter from the State Security Agency confirming paragraph 4 that you bought equipment. Can you confirm that?
General Mkhwanazi ukhuluma into angazazi nje. There's nothing like that. That what General Mkhwanazi is talking about is in his own head, in his own mind. Ayikho leyo nto.
Le equipment ekhulunywa ngayo la kazi wayithenga wena mfaka baba.
I did explain, Chair, that if you are the head of department of a city, world-class city, and you say we need to create an office that will carry the office, that where we need to build a war room that is strong, and then you let the IT people sit together in a room in consultation with SSA and say we want to build capacity that will be able to carry the city, so that when we are sitting here, we know that we are able to trace as to how many buildings are hijacked. In the city of Joburg, you do find a situation where you find that they buy tires, but they buy tires every day. There's a car that keeps on replacing tires. Almost in a month, they will replace tires twice in a month, which means they steal tires. There's a car that continue keeping on pouring petrol 2 times, 3 times in a day, which means they steal petrol. Now, you need a system that is able to actually gather such type of information and be able to give you a picture. You need a system that will tell you that how many syndicates are operating within revenue services. There are people who are milling around revenue services when people are coming to pay electricity at the revenue services. You have people who says, let me help you jump the queue. And they will go take the money and go as if they are going to pay for you, and then the system will be updated, but people will share money. Now, you need to create systems in such a way that from the war room, you are able to know where is the city losing more money of all these departments. You need to have a system where you know that we have a database of all the cases that are reported, and to be able to track them and to be able to do the linkages and to be able to see whether are there officials that are working with outside people or not. So to have an information management center is the only way to be able to run the affairs of the city. This is technology. Today we are living in the fourth and fifth industrial revolution. You cannot depend on paperwork that is not able to assist you. So having bought that, I was not the one even who said in the meeting or nor who designed those whatever equipment that was said, because I didn't know them. The team that we employed mostly teams that come from state security, crime intelligence, police. Now these are the people who sat and say, we think we need a camera, this camera that we're going to use when we shoot the videos or the TVs for hijacked properties or during the operation. So it is things like those. there was no grabber because the main bone of contention was apparently I bought a grabber. Now, the state security said there's no grabber, and there is no grabber. And at the same time, if you remember Al Jamaa, they also went, they made such a statement that says, when you walk past me, I undress you. Because as you walk past me, my system that I have undresses you, takes all the information from your phone. I went to court, and the court ruled in my favor. It's just that they keep on recirculating the same lies, same lies. This is what we are sitting with even today. There's no grabber that I ever procured. He even go to an extent of saying, when I was the head of the Hawks, I procured something like a grabber. Being the head of the Hawks, there was General Dramat, and where was he at that time? No. There's no grabber that I procured. I don't have such a grabber. Some of these statements are just malicious.
Impendulo yakho baba Sibiya iyangidida kancane because ifana nale yayizolo yaka Kate Matlala ukuthi uyamazi uKate Matlala bese ubuye uthi umazi 5 times ngama phone calls ayi5 phinde khona la uphendule khona nabebuza ukuthi elisikisiki wayekhona na. Your answer said wayengekho. So if you say that, that means uyamazi umuntu sheshe umbone. Like if somebody can ask me ukuthi ukhona baba Mkhwanazi, I will tell you akekho because sengiyamazi. So umbuzo wami ngicela uphendule nje mhlawumbe ngendlela ethe ukungisiza ukuthi le equipment othi Mkhwanazi ukhuluma into engayazi ikhona yini yathengwa.
No, ayikho. Akazi ithengwa futhi.
So akuna Paulo Sullivan owakusiza ukuthenga equipment.
No.
I relationship yakho no Paulo Sullivan injani?
Paul Sullivan, I know him very well. I know him very well. I've been operating in Gauteng for many years, and he's one of the active role players in terms of crime fighting. He reports crime, people report to him, he reports to the police, and look, Paul Sullivan contacts everybody. Even if you are the National Commissioner, you will get an email from Paul Sullivan. He's not my friend. I've never been to his house. He's never been to my house. I've never gone to a restaurant with Paul Sullivan where we sat and we drank tea or coffee. What Paul Sullivan is all about is that he's a forensics expert. He receives many information that he processes and even relay to the police. Just like your Mike Bolhayes, your Thomas Chat, these are the people that are active in the crime fighting system. They are there, you can't avoid them, and you can't wish them away.
No, thank you. SAPS is instruction based, you give instruction, conjuring instruction. As Mozo Yagu course, you get the call-up instruction.
Yes.
Do we agree?
Yes.
So, in this regard, you say a team came to take pictures and they were denied. Then again, National Commissioner gave instruction. Ukuthi uMutsepe alokhonje abavumele bashute lapho, but uMutsepe didn't take that instruction. In fact, I want to know where does she get the protocol yakamtsepe? Angimazi irank yakhe, ngicela ungiphe irank yakhe. Protocol ithini ngomtsepe if ukuthi National Commissioner gives the instruction bese angayithathi? Is that correct?
May I leave that for her to come and respond to the chair?
But ngizwe kuwe mina.
Yes,
Kumele kwaleyo ishiye kuye azoyixoxa.
sengiphendula ngaleyo ndlela.
Uyayishintsha.
Angishintshi, ngithi let her come and explain that part.
All right. No, ngiyabonga kakhulu lapho. Ngicela sibonisane lapho. Because nginenkinga yokuthi masophendulana kanjalo sizosalela emuva mntakababa. We SAPS sinayo lento ekuthiwa intelligence. And where is it sitting?
Intelligence is sitting in many offices.
Is it under the office of the president still?
No, there's different type of intelligence. There's crime intelligence of the police. There is senior state security that is taking care of both international and local.
And which one, when I or I seventh?
One that I say is weak is the one of South African Police Service.
Lastly, what is your take, or would you agree with the General Mkwanazi when he says PKTT deserves to be awarded for their good job they did? Do you think the PKTT did a good job? And would you agree on them getting awarded for what they did? As I close, do you also have any relationship with any member of the ad hoc committee? Thank you.
The PKTT members, personally, firstly, I don't know if they haven't been rewarded because there have been many excellence awards, whether they have been rewarded at any stage. They must have been. And they are part of the team that I believe that in many instances they have done a good job. They must be rewarded if ever they haven't been rewarded. It's something that I cannot say they didn't do a good job. Not necessarily mean that throughout the country they did a good job. But the problem is, if you did a good job in Gauteng, or let's say in KZN alone, you can award them in KZN. In KZN, yes, you can award them. But whether they did a good job in the whole country, they were not there everywhere. When you look at Lusikisiki, it's Lusikisiki 18. They were rewarded because of only Lusikisiki. But even if they did a good job when it comes to whatever matter they dealt with, and the commander feels that they need to be rewarded, submit paperwork and they will be rewarded.
Shay didn't finish the question.
Do you want to make a follow-up, honorable
No.
member?
Still the very same question, which does know any member of the ad hoc committee. And I think I was not answered in the question of Brown and Lusikisiki, which, as you said, you don't know him.
Bran Mokgotsi.
Yes.
Bran Mokgotsi, I said it, I think, Chair, even yesterday, that I know Brown from the time he contacted me. I didn't know him. The very first time I got to meet Brown is when on January 8, he called and said, I'm going to General 8, are you going to be there? I said, yes, I'm here on operations. We are working here in Western Cape. He said, I'll come and greet you. That's exactly what happened. And even if you check the footage, you will see. And before that, you can see my phone, you won't find Brown. And then thereafter, I allowed those calls. There were moments where I could have blocked him and stopped communicating him, but when it comes to issues of safety and a person who gives you a lot of information, you let it flow. Any member of the ad hoc that I know, I've worked for a very long time with Honorable James. I know her. I've worked for a long time with Honorable Glenis. I've worked with some members I saw in the portfolios where we account. I know the chairperson for portfolio committee from the portfolio committee, not anywhere else. So these are the only member, Honorable Kola Danabayanat, I know, not personally per se, just official capacities.
I don't mind.
I can only give you the last question.
Because abantu balambile, Chair. No, but Chair, let me finish here. Thanks.
So,
I think Chair Sapala, let me ask you this one, I'm tempted to. Lente, General Mkhwanazi says there is buying of Lamborghinis and all that to by intelligence somehow. And you said there's no such. So I want to ask ukuthi, in the SAPS in totality, akwenzeki ukuthi uthole ukuthi umuntu uyi-spy, uthunywe yini to infiltrate a certain criminal syndicate? Is no such? Is there no such?
A Lamborghini is pushing it too hard. You can't buy something of 5 million because you want to infiltrate somebody. You can always do it cheaper. But you will never go buy a Lamborghini because you want to infiltrate someone.
Yes, so, but there is such a doing. It just it matters in terms of the budget. So it can be done.
Even if let's say, you want to run a covert operation, we have well-trained undercover operators that can infiltrate that space. And let's say, for instance, they are dealing with a syndicate, a group of syndicate, a big one, and where you have to appear as a rich person who is actually living that lifestyle. They will make sure that you get that car, not necessarily that it is procured, but they will organize that car and then you will use that car for that time being for you to be able to operate. But what I wanted to say, Chair, I don't want to sit here and expose how the police operate in some of the operations, because you are leading me into, Chair, you are leading me into a situation where I'm going to be accused tomorrow and say, he did the following.
No, ngiyabonga mfowanda, bengiphendulile. Bengicabanga nje ukuthi ungakwazi ukuthi ikhona lento ayishilo noma ayikho. So uthe ikhona, just depends on the matter of value that will be utilized. Siyabonga mfowanda.
But General, are you saying that in a corrupt environment, officials may not use state money to buy themselves the vehicles that he talks about? In an environment where corruption is pervasive, is there no possibility that the money can be siphoned to acquire such or vehicles of that value?
No, Chair. You can't, unless, I mean, we're working with the public's money, public's fund here. You can't really nilly-willy just spend millions because you want to investigate a certain crime. You can investigate crime.
Not for purpose of investigation, for self-aggrandizement.
And I buy a Lamborghini.
Yes, you have
crime.
access to this purse. There is no monitoring. You have become a law unto yourself. It's not only the vehicles, Honorable Shongwe. He also spoke about people who have acquired farms.
And buildings.
And buildings.
Yeah, that's
So
corruption.
you may have a building that is higher than that vehicle in value.
Yes, Chair.
And the state money has been used.
Yes, Chair.
So that is why I'm asking you, because this is part of our probe, the extent of, okay, I must not say that, the extent of, how corrupt activities have been entrenched. Because he says police officials do this and that, and you say, no, we can't, in terms of our operations, if they are covered, we can't buy vehicles of that value. And I'm asking you, in an environment where corrupt activities have become pervasive, is it possible that state money can be used for personal use, where a person can take it and go and buy himself or herself a vehicle of the value that, I don't want to advertise that vehicle.
It shouldn't be, Chair, and it shouldn't be allowed. Because to start with, there's a way of procuring such a car in such a way that it cannot be traced back to you. And therefore, it is not even known in the system. And what you do with that car at the ultimate end may not be known by anybody.
But that other properties have been acquired. Have you heard about that, or do you know about that?
I saw it in the papers, I heard about it, but I don't know the detailed facts of it, quite honestly speaking. I just see it from a distance, even myself.
And as part of the senior leadership of the police service, when you saw that reports, did it shake you, or you just said, I know, this is what we are used to?
Things were reported, but to as far as I'm concerned, I'm very happy when things get reported to the platform or forum where they belong. And they were reported to the IG, and the IG conducted the investigation and dived deeper in investigation, consulting with the IDEC or NPA, and they came around a decision whether to prosecute or not.
Okay.
But none of us were involved in the process.
Let's leave it that. Thank you so much, General, and I want to thank you, honorable members. Honorable Adams, we have made it a practice that when we have an honorable member in our proceedings, we introduce them for the public to know that members of parliament also take interest in the work that we are doing. So I take this opportunity to formally introduce you, that you have joined our proceedings today.
Thank you, Chair. I thought I was in trouble again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorable members, it's that time when we should break. We are coming back at 10 minutes after 14 hours. The Honorable Nomvalo, we have alerted you about his health issues. So when we come back, I'm going to request honorable members to allow him to get through with his questions. And then we will then move to the Democratic Alliance. Yes, let's accept it. It's only for today, Honorable Breitenbach. I have given you the break, honorable members.